I'm the fake wife Alex hired, but I accidentally got pregnant with his child. He hired me to get rid of the women who couldn't take a hint. But now, I'm the one who most needs to be gotten rid of. I was terrified, feeling like my $50,000 monthly allowance was about to say goodbye to me. I steeled myself and decided to stall for as long as I could. Hey hubby. I have to go on a business trip for 10 months, so I'm taking off, okay? I packed my bags that night and flew abroad to have the baby in secret. 3 days later, I was at the OB/GYN for a checkup when he caught me red-handed. Alex snatched the ultrasound report out of my hand and smiled at me. Honey, getting pregnant is a breach of contract, you know. Have you thought about how you're going to pay me back? I was dirt poor. How poor? In college, my monthly living allowance was only $50. I managed to survive thanks to a bunch of tips from people online, ramen noodle bricks, seasoning packets, and a $2 bottle of vitamins. I lived this miserable life for 2 whole years. Until I met Alex. Overnight, I went from being broke to being a rich woman with a limitless credit card. In my life, the first person I'm grateful for is my mom. The second is him. My mom gave me everything without asking for anything in return. Alex only had one requirement for everything he gave me. Stay in my lane. Obviously, that was easy to do. He married me to ward off his endless stream of admirers, and I was someone who only had eyes for money. I would never develop any inappropriate feelings for him. Our marriage was in name only. Every time we met, we'd have dinner and then go back to our separate rooms. There was absolutely no physical contact. He was very satisfied with me, and I was very satisfied with my bank account balance. I thought we would continue on harmoniously forever. But now, something terrible has happened. There was a hand on my waist. The fingers were long and slender, with well-defined knuckles. It wasn't mine. I'm very pale, and my skin bruises easily. The slightest pressure can leave a mark on me. My gaze slowly drifted up from my waist. Fingerprints, hickeys. All the way up. Damn it, how did he manage to break the skin? I stared up at the ceiling. Flashes of last night's chaotic memories began to attack me. It was all R-rated content. I vaguely remember someone whispering in my ear, "Good girl, baby. This is bad. Very, very bad." I turned my head to look at the man holding me. I'd seen him asleep before. His brow was always furrowed, like he couldn't even rest peacefully. Today, his brow was smooth, and the corners of his lips were slightly turned up. You could tell he was in a good mood. But I was not in a good mood. Because this man was my husband in name only. Alex. Oh, well, I guess it's not in name only anymore. Before Alex and I got married, we set 3 ground rules. I fend off the flock of women for him, and he gives me money. As a woman, I was obviously included in that flock. My marriage was now on thin ice. Luckily, Alex was more drunk than I was last night. He might not remember anything when he wakes up. If he wakes up and doesn't see me, he might think it was someone else. At worst, I'd get chewed out for not doing my job properly and maybe lose 2 months' salary as a slap on the wrist. But if he found out the person last night was me, I could see all that cash waving goodbye. A jolt went through me. No. Absolutely not. I practically tumbled out of the bed. The moment my feet hit the floor, my legs felt weak, and I almost collapsed. My stomach felt bloated, but there wasn't much time. If I delayed any longer and he woke up, it would be all over. I grabbed my clothes and hurried out of the hotel room. Once inside the elevator, I let out a long sigh of relief. Escape successful. Dear God, Buddha, Allah, please let Alex forget what happened last night. I prayed to every deity I could think of, then rubbed my bloated stomach. Ugh, I need to remember to buy the morning after pill later. I went to the hotel's front desk and got an empty room. My newly bought clothes hadn't even arrived when Alex's call came. Where are you? Only 10 minutes had passed since I left his room. Thank God I was fast. I played dumb. I'm in the room next door, what's up? Alex's voice was cold. Get over here. Now. I tried to figure out what he meant. Did he know or not? I threw on a jacket and shuffled over. And then. The scene was a little different from what I had imagined. Alex was sitting on the sofa, his fingers tapping lightly on the armrest. He was casually wearing a silk robe that draped perfectly, outlining his physique. Alex hadn't tied the robe's sash. The collar was open, revealing a large expanse of his muscular chest, with a small part of his abs also showing. Bite marks, scratch marks, and hickeys were scattered all over, disappearing under the fabric. It was hard not to imagine the scenery hidden beneath the clothes. Oh my God, I really ate well. Alex's face, his body, and even the top male models couldn't compare. No. I'm his wife. I can't be lusting after him. Between a man and money, I'd still choose money. But there's no law against looking, right? My eyes darted around, and I subconsciously swallowed. How could something so delicious only be a one-time meal? He smirked. Honey, have you had your fill of looking? I mumbled, I want to see other places. He raised an eyebrow. I want to see. I snapped back to reality. No, I don't want to look at all. I'm just concerned about whether you're hurt. Damn it, who did this to you, hubby? Was it her? I pointed directly at the other person in the room. This was also something I hadn't anticipated. There was another woman in Alex's room. And this woman indeed looked like she had been thoroughly loved. She was kneeling on the carpet, looking completely drained. Her cheeks were flushed, and her eyes were misty. At that moment, she lifted her head, casually displaying her long neck and the hickeys on it. Mr. Hayes, Mrs. Hayes. Her voice was delicate, a damsel in distress. Before she could even finish her sentence, tears started to fall. A single, crystalline tear rolled down from the corner of her eye. A beauty in tears, who wouldn't feel for her? Alex didn't. He completely ignored the crying beauty, his gaze fixed firmly on me. Honey, what do you think? What could I think? This was way above my pay grade. I answered cautiously, we still have empty rooms at home. Should I have the housekeeper get one ready? Alex tapped the armrest of the sofa hard. He relaxed his body, leaned back, and beckoned to me with narrowed eyes. Oh no, why is he angry? I stepped over the person on the floor and shuffled my way over to Alex's side. I thought he was going to talk to me. I never expected him to wrap a long arm around me, pulling me straight into his lap. Huh. He has pecs. I really want to bury my face in them. No, I must have self-control. I rubbed my nose and looked up. Hubby? Alex's hand rested on my back, stroking it almost imperceptibly. His touch made me too scared to move. Damn. Why does this feel like someone comforting a pig right before the slaughter? No, I'm not a pig. He pinched my chin, forcing me to meet his gaze. Alex's voice was soft and slow, like lovers whispering secrets. I'd like to ask, what was my dear wife doing last night? Right. It was me last night, so who is this woman on the floor? My memory is definitely not wrong, my stomach still feels bloated. That means someone is trying to take the credit. I became serious. I'm sorry, hubby. I didn't watch over you properly last night. You can punish me. I'll take care of her, you don't need to worry. I don't know if it was my imagination. But I felt a flash of amusement in Alex's eyes. His mood suddenly improved quite a bit. Alex bent down, and I thought he was going to let me go. Who knew that an unexpected kiss would land on my forehead? Alex squeezed my palm. I'll punish you when we get home. The sudden kiss left me stunned for a moment. I only came to my senses when my peripheral vision caught the person on the floor. He must be trying to make her back off. I get it. As I was thinking about how to get rid of the woman, Alex interrupted my thoughts. He swept me up into his arms. What are you doing? He looked down. Going home. I pointed at the person silently crying in the room. What about her? Alex's tone was dangerous. What, you feel sorry for her now? Hey, what kind of question is that? She's so beautiful, who wouldn't feel sorry for her when she cries? Alex smiled. Feel any more sorry and this month's allowance is gone. Damn it. I don't feel sorry anymore. I feel sorry for myself. After Alex took me home, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd forgotten something. But I just couldn't remember what it was. The day before, we went to a charity gala. Everyone knows you don't get to eat much at those things. After an eventful night, and then running around this morning, I was starving, my stomach practically touching my spine. The moment I got home and saw the full breakfast spread the housekeeper had prepared, I happily dove in. Steamed buns, I'll eat them. Fried dough sticks, I'll eat them. Egg pancakes, I'll eat them. I ate and ate and ate. He sat next to me, slowly and methodically eating his bacon, eggs, and toast. I held up a half-eaten bun and said, my words muffled, you want one? It's really good. There's still one more on the table. If he doesn't want it, I'm eating it all. Alex mummed in agreement and suddenly leaned closer to me. Before I could react, he took a bite out of the bun I had been eating. He nodded in approval. It is good. I was extremely conflicted. After hesitating for a long while, I couldn't hold it in anymore. Hubby, are you having financial problems lately? Do I need to start being more frugal? Alex looked puzzled. Can we not even afford one bun each anymore? He had been reduced to fighting with me for a bun. This is bad. Alex chuckled, half in exasperation. Don't worry, I can still afford to keep you. I spent a month in a state of anxiety, terrified that Alex would go bankrupt. Every day, I prayed devoutly for his business to succeed. Fortunately, what Alex said that day was true. His financial situation was very healthy. I was relieved. But my peace of mind didn't last more than 2 days before another issue hit me. My period was late. The last time my cycle was irregular was back when I was super poor. Ever since I got money, I've taken my health very seriously and nursed my body back to a healthy state. Since then, my period has been extremely regular. It always came exactly when it was supposed to. But this time, it was already a week late. It was also at this moment that I finally remembered what I had forgotten that day. I forgot to take the morning after pill. How can a person be so stupid? My heart filled with despair as I went to the hospital and made an appointment with the OB/GYN. I came home with a pregnancy test report. My face was ashen as I sat on the sofa, contemplating my life. No. Absolutely not. If Alex finds out about this, he'll definitely fire me. My $50,000. My money. Some other woman will surely replace me as his wife. The thought of someone else snatching this perfect job from me made my teeth itch with hatred. I have to think of a plan. What should I do? I rubbed my belly. With no other choice, I created a brand new social media account and posted for advice. What do I do if I'm pregnant with my husband's baby? In the post, I described in detail what a great boss Alex was, and how we both got drunk at a gala and had an accident. The top comment, girl, a guy who's blackout drunk can't perform. Your husband was definitely a willing participant. Reply to top comment, LMAO, forget willing, I bet her husband is secretly in love with her and is just frustrated that she's so dense. Ha ha ha, I'm dying. Based on the OP's description, her husband ran into her constantly in college and threw money at her, and after they got married, he always comes home on time and reports his schedule. What kind of boss treats an employee like that? OP, listen to me. Go back and tell your husband, I like you, and he'd probably give you his life. Tagging XXX, what is this angsty, possessive, I'd die for you, romance trope LMAO. I pouted. What do they know? Alex hired me precisely because I'm low maintenance. Ours is the purest of transactional relationships, not to be tainted by feelings, okay? I skipped that thread and looked for actual advice. I scanned the replies. Have the baby. You two are legally married, so the child is legitimate. If you get divorced, he might not want you, but can he not want his own child? I stroked my chin. That makes a lot of sense. Given how rich Alex is, the child support he'd give me and the kid would be at least 6 figures. Besides, I don't want to get rid of it. Being pregnant feels magical. Another living being is growing inside my belly. He, or she, is completely mine. Now that I've decided to have the baby, a new problem arises. Alex and I see each other every day. There's no way I can hide it. I definitely can't stay by his side. I thought about it. I'll just go abroad. I rummaged through my room for my passport and started researching which country to go to. When Alex came home that night, he saw me curled up on the sofa looking like I was facing a mortal enemy. He asked, "What's wrong? Do you need my help?" I didn't even look up. Making a plan. What kind of plan? I suddenly realized it was him, closed my tablet, and said, a little guiltily, "Hubby, you're back?" He stared at me for several seconds. His gaze made the hair on my back stand up. Is there something on my face? He didn't answer, asking instead, "Is there anything you want to tell me today?" I shook my head. Nope. He didn't press further but gave me a look full of meaning. I'm starting to panic. He's acting very strange. Which means I need to run, and fast. The next day, I was still sleeping when Alex finished breakfast and left for work. I shot out of bed like a spring, ran to the balcony, and watched his car drive away until it disappeared from sight. I breathed a sigh of relief and started packing my suitcase. After packing everything, I hesitated before leaving. If a whole person like me just disappears, Alex will definitely think something is wrong. It would be bad if he thought I'd been kidnapped. I thought for a moment, found a sticky notepad, tore off a sheet and stuck it to the headboard. Hey hubby. Got some stuff to take care of, going on a business trip for about 10 months, okay? As a backup, I left another note. I'm fine, no need to come looking for me. I'll be back on my own when I'm done. Perfect. I grabbed my suitcase and left the house. Bye-bye, hubby. Your dear wife is off to secretly have your baby behind your back. See you in 10 months. To have a baby, first you need to choose a hospital to give birth in. Of course, that's still a long way off. I'm only a month pregnant, so there's no rush to think about the delivery. The most important thing right now is to check on how the little one is doing. After the plane landed, I spent a day adjusting to the time difference. The next day, my head was empty, and I forgot I needed to fast for the appointment, so I had to sheepishly go back home. On the third day, I finally got the checkup done. The report was full of professional jargon. It was all Greek to me. I cornered the doctor and peppered him with questions. After finally understanding what all the indicators meant, I glanced at my phone and saw a bill for $3,000. I stood at the hospital entrance, tilting my head back at a 45-degree angle to look at the sky. Foreigners of all colors were coming and going. I clutched the ultrasound report and muttered. This is way too expensive. I should just go back home to give birth. Is this baby made of gold? So expensive. Give birth to what? A baby, of course. I sighed. Ugh, the medical costs in this country are insane. I just asked a few questions. After I said that, I suddenly realized something was wrong. Wait a minute. I'm in a foreign country. People here don't speak Chinese. Who was that, talking to me? I slowly turned my head, and my eyes met a face I'd been looking at for 3 years. The newcomer was very proactive. So proactive that all I was left holding was a small purse and an ultrasound report. He had taken all my other belongings. Alex skimmed the ultrasound report. I was still in a state of shock. Wait, what are you doing here? Alex answered casually, there's a tracker on your phone. I was furious. You're spying on me. When did you secretly install that? Honey, I installed it right in front of you. Huh? My brain spun for a moment, and I guess that was true. There was a little incident before, and Alex put a tracker on me. Long story short, I was kidnapped once, and the kidnappers demanded a ransom from Alex. Alex paid it without hesitation and rescued me. Of course, the kidnappers were later caught. Alex lectured me for a while that day, and in the end, he installed tracking devices on my phone, my necklace, and other things I often carried. He normally wouldn't check it, but if I was in trouble, he could find me. It's been almost a year, so I forgot. But that's not the point. The point is, what are you doing here? Alex finally looked up, a smile playing on his lips. He seemed to deliberately slow down his speech. A 10-month business trip to have a baby? I panicked, stammering, that. Come on, brain, think of an excuse. Alex ruffled my hair, his voice incredibly gentle. Honey, our marriage agreement doesn't have a clause for this. The marriage agreement was a very simple document. The gist was that I help him drive away any living person who has a romantic interest in him. He gives me money. The living person in the first clause includes me. Secretly getting pregnant with my child is a breach of contract, you know. Alex leaned in, smiling. Based on my years of experience, he's in a very good mood right now. I'm pregnant. I don't get why he's in a good mood. His thumb brushed against my cheek, creating a ticklish sensation, before finally resting on my lips. Baby, have you thought about how you're going to repay me? Damn, repay him? Is there a penalty clause for breach of contract? Although I can't remember the exact content of the agreement, Alex is a ruthless capitalist. He's not going to make me pay back everything I've earned these past 2 years, is he? I can't afford that. My body knows me better than I do. My mouth ran ahead while my brain tried to catch up. My lips barely moved before the words tumbled out, hubby, listen to me. I actually cheated. The baby isn't yours. I didn't breach the contract, please don't make me pay you back. Once I started, the nonsense flowed freely. That's right, that's it. As you know, I'm a normal woman with physical desires, and at 25, I'm in my prime. So I'm keeping a few college boys on the side. Yeah, each one has abs. Not just abs, but pecs, too. The kind you can bury your face in. And they're obedient, they call me babe in this pathetic little voice. As I spoke, I nodded seriously, lost in my own fantasy. College boys. Several college boys. Hot college boys with pecs. Alex didn't interrupt me. When I finished, he asked lightly, how many are you keeping? 3, oh no, 4, I think. Keeping 4 of them, hee hee. He laughed. You wish, Mississippi Lucy. Have you ever thought about how much it costs to support 4 men for a month? Crap, I forgot. Supporting men is expensive. Nope, not doing it anymore. Men aren't as important as money. I looked downcast. Okay, fine, I'll get rid of them. Alex flipped his wrist and grabbed my hand. As I wondered what he was doing, he took my hand and pressed it against his chest. The late spring weather was getting warmer. Alex wasn't wearing much, just a black shirt. Through the fabric, I could feel the strange texture under my palm. Alex bent down and pulled me into his arms. He deliberately lowered his voice, whispering in my ear. So seductive. He actually said, in a pitiful tone. Babe, I have abs and pecs too. Wanna touch them and see? Ah, you're older than me, don't call me that. And definitely don't start some weird role-playing thing. Let's ignore the role-playing issue for now. The main point is that Alex caught me and is taking me back. The entire time, even as he buckled me into the back seat of the car, he wasn't angry. Forget that, he even looked pretty happy. I'm doomed. I sneakily glanced at his head. An invisible green hat was perched on top of it. And he's happy? I never would have thought, Alex, that you were into this sort of thing. Even though the baby is his, he doesn't know that. When I told him I cheated, his smile just got wider. Damn it. Now I know why he insisted on legally marrying his shield. Turns out he's into this kind of drama. I sighed. And here I thought he was a normal person. Alex took my hand and asked me, how was the checkup today? Are you feeling uncomfortable anywhere? Oh my God, he's even concerned about the checkup. So green. So eco-friendly. I sighed heavily again. Alex frowned. Is there a problem with the checkup? I leaned back against the seat and said forlornly, hubby, I think you might be the one with the problem. You seem awfully eager to raise someone else's child. The moment I said that, the atmosphere in the car changed drastically. I don't know what changed, but something did. Alex slowly undid his watch. The metal object landed on the soft leather with only a very, very faint sound. Alex propped one hand up beside me, trapping me in the small seat. The driver discreetly raised the partition between the front and back seats. Who, hubby? I stared at his Adam's apple, so close I could almost touch it, and suddenly remembered the frequency of its vibrations in the dark that night when he was aroused. The sensual images I thought I had long forgotten came rushing back. My ears burned as I turned my face away. Let's talk this out properly, don't get so close. My sentence was cut short as my eyes widened in shock. Alex cupped the back of my head and pressed his lips against mine. Not counting the time we were drunk. This was my first kiss while fully sober. I was stunned, letting him do as he pleased, and my face turned red from holding my breath. Alex pulled back slightly. Didn't you say you were keeping 4 college boys? You don't know how to kiss? How could he mock me? I retorted stubbornly, I do too know how. I lunged at him like an eager puppy. Alex supported the back of my head. Don't rush. We'll learn together. Huh? Learn together? So you don't know how either. Not wanting to be outdone, I tilted my head up and wrapped my arms around his waist. I clenched the hem of his shirt. By the time we reached our destination, my lips were swollen from his kisses, and my brain was fried. It's so strange. I don't know why things turned out this way. I looked at him. Alex's expression was normal, as if nothing was wrong. If you ignored the red tips of his ears. This time I stared at him openly. After being stared at for a while, Alex cleared his throat. Do you want to stay here and have fun for a couple of days, or go home? I narrowed my eyes. If we stay here and have fun, will you keep me company? His long fingers slid between mine, lacing them together. I suddenly remembered the post I made before leaving the country, and the top comments reply that said Alex was secretly in love with me. Alex ruffled my hair helplessly. What else? Just leave my pregnant wife alone in a foreign country? I muttered under my breath, the baby isn't even yours. From his perspective, that's how it seemed. Alex, a very generous man in a green hat. This time, Alex only booked 1 room at the hotel. A king-sized bed. I was lying on the bed playing on my phone while Alex went into the bathroom to shower. I deliberately turned the phone's volume up loud to drown out the sound of the water. But ironically, not being able to hear it clearly made it all the more suggestive. I covered my ears, forcing myself not to think about it. The more I tried, the more my mind raced. I couldn't focus on the funny videos on my phone at all. My head was filled with R-rated thoughts. When Alex came out of the shower, I was huddled under the covers, blinking as I watched him. He was wearing a robe, and water droplets that he hadn't fully dried dripped from behind his ear, down his chest and abs, and disappeared into unseen places. Why are you wrapped up like a burrito? I said dryly, I'm afraid you'll do something to me. And I'm also afraid I won't be able to control myself. Alex sat on the edge of the bed and leaned closer. He asked with a smile, "Do what?" My cheeks flushed. "You know, that, I can't say it, it's not appropriate." He looked thoughtful. Then, he ripped the blanket off me. "No, don't." My attempt to rescue the blanket failed as he pulled me into his arms. The hotel's shower gel was orange-scented, sweet. Fresh out of the shower, Alex smelled like oranges all over. Fortunately, he didn't do anything, but instead laid me down flat and lay down beside me. I pillowed my head on his arm and heard his heartbeat, so close. Alex gently patted my head and turned off the light. "You're pregnant, behave yourself." The room was plunged into darkness. Only the moonlight filtered through the sheer curtains, casting a hazy glow. I shifted my body, and after my eyes adjusted to the sudden darkness, I looked up and saw his face clearly. As luck would have it, Alex was looking down at the same time. As our eyes met, the heart in my chest went rogue, beating wildly. I hurriedly closed my eyes. "Good night, hubby. If I don't say good night now, something's going to happen." Alex hummed softly in response. "Good night." Alex said he would spend a couple of days with me abroad. In April, Central Park's cherry blossoms were like snow. Luckily, it was a weekday, so it wasn't too crowded, but not empty either. A few squirrels peeked out, playing on the grass dotted with small purple flowers. I watched them for a while, snapping photos. Alex just waited by my side. The sound of a guitar strumming came from a distance. Just then, the squirrels scrambled up a tree and vanished into the sea of cherry blossoms. Alex and I followed the sound. By the river, someone was strumming an old guitar, humming a song in 4/4 time. The music was amplified by a microphone, carrying far. I stopped in front of him, listening to him sing. Midway through, I asked Alex, "What language is he singing in?" Alex shook his head. "It's a less common language. I can't tell." I sat on the grass, and when the song ended, I applauded for him. Suddenly, I remembered that years ago, Alex and I had listened to someone sing just like this. Back then, I was still in college, and the campus was full of talented people. After dusk, on the lawn of the athletic field, someone would bring their own speaker and sing. The song would circle the field again and again. The audience sat in a circle around him, and he even took requests. That day, Alex came to the university for some business, and by the time he was done, it was dinner time. I was sprinting to the dining hall after class when I happened to see him. I screeched to a halt and greeted him, "Mr. Hayes, you're at the university too." Back then, our relationship was very pure. Even purer than now. He was my sponsor, and I was the poor student he was funding. I was very grateful to him. When Alex saw me, he said something to the professor who was seeing him off. The professor nodded and left. I jogged up to him and stopped, looking up at him. "Want to have dinner together?" "I just got my scholarship money." He said, "Okay." He was also an alumnus of our university, so he was very familiar with the campus. I asked him what he wanted to eat, and he suggested the pork stomach and chicken hot pot. My eyes lit up. I love the pork stomach and chicken from Dining Hall 1. The owner is super nice. Alex turned his head, his gaze gentle. "Looks like we have the same taste." It was also late spring back then. After dinner, the twilight was just beginning to fade. Alex didn't seem to be in a hurry to leave, so I took the hint. "Want to walk around campus?" We walked from the little used path behind Dining Hall 1 all the way to the athletic field. The side of the field also had cherry blossom trees, but they were pink. In 2 different countries, 2 different cities, the cherry blossoms had a brief, overlapping bloom. In April, the night breeze and the morning wind blew separately. They blew pink blossoms onto 20-year-old Lucy's shoulder, and white blossoms covered 25-year-old Lucy's head. Both times, Alex was by my side. That night, the student singing on the field was an anime fan, singing Renee's Circulation in a sweet voice. Alex and I had been chatting the whole way, but now we had run out of topics. To ease the awkwardness, I asked Alex, "What do the lyrics mean? Do you understand them?" The lights were too bright, and I couldn't see his face clearly under them. I only heard his voice mixed with the song. "My heart will fall deeper and deeper for you." Even though I knew he was talking about the lyrics, I was still a bit embarrassed. I shouldn't have asked. I tried to salvage the situation, but then I heard him ask, "Mississippi Lucy, are you willing to marry me?" I was stunned. Huh? My name is in the lyrics too? Alex looked at me seriously. "No, I'm the one asking you." I didn't walk Alex out, I fled in panic. I couldn't understand what he meant at all. I tossed and turned, unable to sleep, and didn't dare to ask him. A couple of days later, he explained to me that he needed a wife to help him fend off unwanted admirers and asked if I was willing, just as a wife in name only. I didn't want to agree at first. But the amount he offered was just too much, sob. I shamelessly agreed and got married to him. I was quite worried at first, afraid it was a marriage scam. Later, I figured it out. I was dirt poor, what could he possibly scam from me? If he was after my body, well, that could only be called mutually beneficial. But all my worries were for nothing. Nothing happened. He and I coexisted peacefully until the accident. Amidst the foreign song, on a whim, I asked Alex, "Do you like me?" Hearing this, Alex turned his head and stared at me with his usual quiet gaze. He didn't speak, and I started to panic. Great, one moment of courage has led to a lifetime of introversion. "Lucy, oh Lucy, don't be so presumptuous next time." Then, the next second, Alex bent down and kissed me. I instinctively wrapped my arms around his neck and responded. His kiss made my legs go weak, and I leaned against his chest. I heard him answer, "I've liked you for many years. You're only just seeing it now. You can't really blame me. It's all because Alex is a super-duper good boss. A sensible employee will extinguish any behavior that could possibly affect their work." Sometimes, I did feel like he liked me. But, you know, a person can't be too presumptuous. What if he's just a smooth operator who's like this with everyone? If that were the case, where would I go crying when I lose both the man and the money? It's his fault for not just saying it. He doesn't have to worry about losing money. Alex looked down. "I was afraid of losing you." Sigh, what a thing to say. I said eagerly, "As long as you don't go bankrupt, I won't run away." He looked at me thoughtfully. "Is that so?" I nodded like a bobblehead. Yes. I've been scared of being poor for too long. I really love money." Alex suddenly said, "But you rejected several rich kids who confessed their love to you in your sophomore year." Huh. That wasn't my fault. I was known at school as the poor student. So poor that the jingle of my non-existent coins annoyed those young masters. Back then, my love for money was still relatively restrained. To outsiders, I probably looked like a strong, independent little white flower. Someone got bored and decided to pursue me for fun. Logically, a rich kid pursues me, gives me money, I should agree. But the first one who pursued me was just too ugly. A turtle pulled out of a pond had bigger eyes than him. His face was fleshy and greasy. If you didn't know better, you'd think a pig had escaped its pen. On top of that, the guy cornered me on the way back to my dorm. Under a streetlight, he took a deep drag from his cigarette, trying to look profound, and blew the smoke in my face. Then, he confessed to me like he was doing me a favor. I asked him very seriously at the time, "Bro, did I break some celestial law? Why are you punishing me like this?" He probably didn't get it at first. "What punishment?" "The punishment of you loving me?" I couldn't listen anymore and ran for my life. It was too terrifying. I'm done with gold digging. Whoever wants to be a gold digger can go ahead, but not me. Later, that rich kid boasted, "If even I can't get Lucy, I don't believe anyone can." I don't know where he got his confidence, but anyway, all his buddies joined in, and they even started a betting pool. I bet $200 on no one can get her. Unfortunately, the other students at school knew what these guys were like, so the odds were terrible. I only made $250 in the end. And for that $250, I was harassed for a whole 6 months. It's practically my tragic backstory. Facing Alex's question, I stared at the sky and said wistfully, probably because you're a normal person. If even one of those guys had a normal brain, would have agreed. Fortunately, they were just dumb, not criminals. Other than being annoying like flies, it wasn't a huge problem. Later, when I met Alex, I thanked the heavens. Finally, a normal person. Not just normal, but handsome too. So perfect. Wait a minute. Alex doesn't seem that normal either. He's into that whole cuckold drama thing. I actually quite like Alex. Once the fear of losing money was gone, I discovered all his good qualities: gentle, handsome, rich, generous, and he likes me. Even the most indifferent person would be moved. I'm not that indifferent. There's just one small problem. I was curled up on the sofa eating an ice cream cone. Summer was starting, and the weather was getting hot. I was really craving ice cream, so I bought myself an ice cream machine and some crispy cones. Maybe it's my body type, but I wasn't really showing. You could tell I'd gained weight if I took my clothes off, but with them on, you couldn't see a thing. But Alex treated me like a fragile porcelain doll, terrified I would get bumped or bruised. I observed him for 2 days and asked him sincerely, "Don't you think you're being a little weird?" "What?" I pointed at myself. "I'm pregnant." He nodded. I pointed at him. "You've been especially nice to me these past 2 days." Because I was very curious about the extent of Alex's strange kink, I still hadn't told him the baby was his. He was still very good to me. But deceiving him like this wasn't right. I decided to clear things up. "Actually, the baby is yours." I didn't cheat. Alex reached out and ruffled my hair. "I know." Those 2 words shut me up. I was full of question marks. "You know?" Alex sighed. "Baby, the hotel has cameras, I have a brain, and besides, I wasn't drunk that night." He wasn't drunk? Alex recounted the details like he was reading a grocery list. "You were the one who was drunk. I took you back to the hotel, and you clung to me, ripping off my clothes and saying, 'We're married, why can't I touch you?' Huh, man, you're not escaping my grasp tonight." Alex deliberately imitated my tone and expression. He had a real talent for acting. It was uncanny. I remained expressionless and stuffed the half-eaten ice cream into his mouth. "Okay, that's enough. I know what I'm like when I'm drunk." He looked down and touched my belly. I had my own selfish reasons, too. I didn't want our marriage to stay the same, so. Sigh, whatever. No matter how I think about it, I'm the one who came out on top. Until I met Alex. I've never been in a relationship. "Mr. Hayes, would you like to be in one with me?" He threw the ice cream away, but I tried to save it. I grabbed the cone. The ones I bought online were strawberry flavored and pink. I ate too slowly, and the vanilla ice cream started to melt. I tried to eat faster. But in the end, it still got on my hand. I looked down at my palm and unhappily squeezed the cone. At this point, Alex suddenly remembered not to waste food and coaxed me to eat it. No way. I ran to the bathroom, washed my hands, and then opened the fridge to get another one. This time, Alex grabbed the back of my collar. "That's enough. You're pregnant, you can't eat too much." Seriously, what kind of person is this? He's even controlling my ice cream intake.